Hi there, it's time for another episode of What's New. This time we're taking a look at what's new in Proget 2.20. In this release we focused mainly on three areas: security, regaining control over devices in emergency situations, and expanding the capabilities of kiosk mode. On top of that, we're introducing new mobile apps, improved certificate management, a dependency graph, and a few practical enhancements that simply make everyday admin work easier. Alright, let's see what's new in Proget 2.20. Let's start with one of the most important changes in this release, the redesigned service password. This mechanism allows an administrator to help a user even when the device cannot contact the server. For example, when there's no internet connection, kiosk mode is active, the device is locked, or something went wrong with the configuration. Starting with version 2.20, the administrator no longer generates just a simple code. Now, you can decide which actions should be performed after the password is entered on the device, and how long the code should remain valid. And importantly, these actions can be combined. In one case, the code may only be used to exit kiosk mode. In another, it may help restore connectivity and reapply the configuration. The code is now longer and more secure, but the user doesn't have to type it in manually. You can generate a QR code or send the code by email. Another major new feature is File Manager, remote file management on devices. To use it, you need the Proget File Manager app, available for Android and iOS. It allows the administrator to browse files available to the app, create folders, upload files to the device, download files from the device, and remove unnecessary data. The scope of access depends on the platform and permissions. On Android, it can be broader, while on iOS it is limited to files shared with the app. Another important thing is that operations are asynchronous. You can schedule an action even when the device is turned off or has no internet connection. The system will show the history and status of operations, and it also lets you cancel commands that have not yet been delivered to the device. File Manager can be useful, for example, when you need to deliver configuration files, share documents with field workers, download reports from a device, or help free up storage space. For now, File Manager is available in beta. If you want to test it, please get in touch with us to have the feature enabled. The second new mobile app is Proget Notifier. It allows you to display a message on the user's device, with an image, description, and action buttons. Everything is configured through Managed Configuration. You can set a logo, title, description, footer, and buttons that can, for example, start a phone call, open a link, send an HTTP request, or close the app or kiosk mode. All content can be adapted to the device language, so the user sees the message in their own language. But the most interesting part is that Notifier can be combined with other Proget mechanisms, such as kiosk mode or dynamic groups. For example, if a user removes the SIM card, the system can detect the change, apply kiosk mode with Proget Notifier, and show instructions on what needs to be done to remove the block. You can also use it for simple surveys or messages that require the user to take action. Kiosk mode now includes several very practical improvements. First, the Proget settings panel, things like Wi-Fi, volume, or brightness, can now also be available in single app kiosk mode. The user can access it from the kiosk exit screen. Second, you can decide whether kiosk should be displayed above or below the lock screen. By default, it works as before, but now you have control over this behavior. Just keep in mind that displaying kiosk above the lock screen only works when the policy does not require a password. Third, we improved login and logout behavior in multi-app kiosk mode. You can now define how long after the screen turns off the user should be logged out, disable automatic logout completely, or add a logout button directly on the kiosk screen. We've also added new actions, logging out the user and exiting kiosk mode directly to the PIN entry screen. Small changes, but they make a real difference in everyday kiosk usage. In version 2.20, we're continuing to organize and simplify certificate management. Options that were previously available in a separate SCEP profile have now been moved into the certificate profile as a new type. This means certificate configurations are now available in one place. The old SCEP profile has been marked as deprecated. It still works and can be viewed, but it will be removed in the next version, so it's a good idea to plan the migration. After moving to the new model, you can decide whether a certificate should be generated for a user or separately for a device. SCEP certificates are also now visible in the Certificate Manager, where you can check their status, renew them, or regenerate them. You can also enable automatic renewal of SCEP certificates, just like with template-based certificates. Another new feature is the experimental dependency graph. It's designed for administrators with full permissions and allows you to visually see how different system elements are connected. Instead of manually jumping between multiple views, you can quickly check relationships between labels, users, devices, profiles, or apps. The graph is available from the label view, the user card, and the device card. It's especially useful when analyzing configurations or troubleshooting issues. In the mobile threat prevention profile, we've added a new rule, reacting to loss of internet connection. You can define what should happen when a device stops communicating with the server. For example, automatically switching it to loss mode. To avoid false alarms caused by short connection drops, you can set a time tolerance. The minimum is 15 minutes. We've also improved work profile lock messages. The administrator's phone number is now optional, and the message header can be customized to fit your needs. There are also a few practical improvements related to device support. Messages sent to a device now support basic text formatting, for example, bold, italics, and clickable links to websites, phone numbers, or apps. For Android devices in device owner mode, we've added the ability to generate a native Android system bug report. You can download it from the device card and use it, for example, when reporting an issue to Google or to the device manufacturer. From the device card, you can also remotely remove a selected user account. If the conditions allow it, the operation will be performed automatically. In some cases, the user will need to confirm it on the device. And finally, a few improvements that make everyday work more comfortable. We've standardized the appearance of tables across the system. Rows now have a fixed height, and additional information is hidden under the +X control. This makes lists cleaner and easier to browse. We've also added bulk editing for apps assigned to a group. You can select multiple apps and change a chosen setting for all of them at once. By default, each field is set to skip, so only the parameters you intentionally select will be changed. That's it for this update. Proget 2.20 focuses strongly on emergency scenarios, remote support, and working with devices in the field. We have many changes that should make daily administration easier. Check out the new features, test them in your environment, and, as always, let us know what you think. See you next time.